And thanks for the presentation. It was quite funny to see the difference between the beginning and the end. There were some questions from people who are joining the presentation. If possible, I would like to put some questions to you or to give them. First question is from Alexander. He says, the individual player is a very important aspect, a very important pillar, also for UEFA, by the way. But you don't see your players daily. How do you keep contact with them, and how do you cope with their individual needs, character, or dreams?
Yeah, I think that's very important. First of all, I want to say that it helped me a lot to be the national team coach when I had a large experience being at club level football. I feel that the players, they can get distracted when they get the national team coach constantly contacting players and make them focus about the national team. And my experience is that I don't want to distract the players. I want the players to be fully committed when they arrive, when they cross the door at Tubize in our center. The commitment needs to be 100%. And at that point, our players, I see that the way that they enjoy the national team is by being that freshness, almost that lack of contact is important at times. And other times, it could be that a player has had a really good camp and there are areas that we need to work, and then you can keep in contact directly, or you can get in contact through the physical coach at the club or someone specific at the club, and you can do it working together. But I think it's very, very important that you can see exactly what the player needs. If a player is saturated, you need to be able to give him a bit of freedom and almost make him feel that that player needs information when he arrives. I think sometimes as coaches, we can be thinking too much about our job and ticking the boxes of doing what the coach is expected to do. And you need to change that mindset. It's about the player, what the player needs. Does he need information? You need to give him information. Does he need a bit of a break? Give him a break, make him fresh, make him that he will be committed when it comes to you. So that's the way that I follow it. And my orientation is always based on what the player needs. I would never treat the whole team in terms of, okay, today we're going to work tactically. I'm sending information to all the players around. No, that's not my information without need. You're wasting your time.
Okay, thanks. So it was a question from Alexander. A second question coming from Lucien is, you spoke about 4 aspects. Which of the 4 aspects that you showed us is the most important according to you?
Well, it's a very interesting question from Lucien, because there is no right answer. Every dressing room needs one block or another, depending on the moment of the season, or depending where they are. Sometimes at the back of a really difficult defeat, all you need is working psychological and make sure that the team is got the doubts out, and you can work on the belief, and you need to repair that. Other aspects, you can win a game that you don't really know how you won it, because in football it could happen, but because we're working in a low scoring system, sometimes the better team don't win. So when you win that you don't deserve it because you were lucky, is a fantastic opportunity to work tactically or technically in aspects that you really want to improve. And then is all the 4 factors or the 4 blocks is important. They are not isolated. They always interacted. So I think it's important that any work you do, you try to mix as many aspects as you can. You can work physically and make it competitive. So that psychological aspect is part of it. You can work technically, which is, it could be a specific passing drill, but you could make it tactical and getting specific partnerships that you use on the pitch. For example, I think everything is a global way of training. So try to mix as many as you can, but assess very much what the team needs. There is no answer what's the priority. Is the priority on the Monday is very different to the Monday in October or the Monday in June. It depends what the team needs, and make sure that you assess it well and you can give the team what they need.
Mm-hmm. Then a question from, I think, foreign colleague here, Liam McCarthy. Thank you for your excellent presentation, Roberto. Which is your biggest problem, dilemma, or issue as an international team coach? Does this differ to the problems, dilemmas, and issues faced as a Premier League coach?
Yeah, great question, Liam, and thanks for your kind words. I think that the big difference is the lack of time on the grass. At international level, you got 3 sessions to prepare a game. At club level session, you got 60 sessions to prepare the first game. So I think that's the biggest difference. At international level, you cannot work at everything. So you have to prioritize. In those 3 sessions, you need to hit exactly what's going to be needed in the game. At club level, what you're trying to do is that the team sets really clear ways and clear concepts, and you work at them and you make them very automatic and very well understood by the players, and is well synchronized. International level, you need to prioritize. And I think anticipating what you're going to get in the game is the hardest thing at times. But those would be the biggest challenges of international football.
Yeah, okay, thanks. An anonymous question, but do you adapt your way of playing to the player's DNA?
Yes. I think it's very important that we need to remember that at the end of the day, the players make the final decision to score a goal or to miss the goal. And the more that as a coach, you can have a very clear structure and a very almost a systematic way of playing the game, you need to adapt it to the DNA of your players. And I would say a bit further, the outstanding qualities of your players. Every coach will have players that they've got outstanding qualities. And I think you need to adapt within your clear way of playing the game to the outstanding qualities of certain players. Scoring goals is the hardest thing in a team. The goal scoring threat comes from that natural talent of certain players. So if you can highlight it, it will help your goal scoring threat of your team. So the answer is yes. I think you cannot chop and change from week to week. I think you need to find a very, very clear way of playing and give time to become better. Football is not about styles. It's about being very, very good at one style and not keep confusing players. But you need to be a little bit adaptable to the outstanding qualities that certain individuals can bring into your team.
Yeah, fun and formation are 2 important aspects for all players, grassroots players, but also for elite players. How do you try to implement fun and formation within the training sessions with the national team?
Information, you mean just information to the players?
No, fun, the aspect of fun and the aspect of formation. So game model, for example. How do you integrate that within the training sessions of the Red Devils?
I think everything needs to be fun. If you cannot make it fun, you're not gonna achieve that extra 1% that we all have. If we all come in this meeting and we cannot enjoy it, you're wasting your time. It's not different in football. You need to make it fun, but I think there needs to be a thin line that it doesn't become a waste of time. One thing is fun while you're achieving your objectives, and the objective is to give information to a player to understand how to solve problems on the pitch. The moment that the fun becomes a waste of time in order to get all the other message and the formation of a team, then you know that you crossed the line. So if you can get good information with fun, that information will stay there forever, and you'll have the attention of the players for longer time. So important to make it fun, and important just to give information in very small doses. Sometimes we're trying to get 5 points across, and it's better to get 1 point across and the player had fun and enjoyed working towards it, rather than having just almost a workload of too much information at the end is not clear and it leaves you with a waste of time.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Roberto. Maybe one last final question. You are also a coach, human being, but a coach. How do you try to keep on developing yourself as a coach? Because I think it's quite the idea of the UEFA or the Flemish Training School of Voetbal Vlaanderen that lifelong learning is very important for all coaches. how you try to develop yourself as a coach?
I think it is essential. I think you should never feel that you are ready to stay with what you know and never improve yourself. It would be the first time that you get yourself defeated in the next game. I think football is one of the oldest sports in the world, and everything is invented, but everything goes around in trends. So I think it's important to have that open mind and open learning. I always like to enjoy watching football, but not watching football with a reason behind it. So I've watched a lot of games where the Red Devils and potential Red Devils are involved, but I like to watch other games with other cultures and then try to see why the coaches took those answers, and then work backwards and try to be very open-minded. I think as a coach, when you are coaching, you need to be very clear on what you want. When you are not coach, try to be open-minded and try to open that switch of learning and see how others work and other cultures use the game, because it's fascinating when you take that approach.